All right, welcome, folks. It is another episode of Quizzing in America. My name is Jeremy Conman. I am your host, and today I have a guest I have wanted to have on since I started doing this podcast. One of the guys that I have known in the trivia world for longer than just about anybody else, somebody who I have considered a friend, who I have great respect for, and who runs one of the best pub trivia companies in the country, maybe the best. It's probably the pub trivia I've played the most often. It's based right here in Chicago, which is my home city. We got Dan Burns from Whaddayaknow Free Pub Trivia. Thank you, Dan, for agreeing to do this. We're finally getting a chance to sit down and chat, and I can't wait for other folks who don't know about Whaddayaknow to find out a little bit about you and about the background and what you've done. So feel free to say hello, and then we'll jump into it.
Awesome, Jeremy. Thanks so much for having me on. Been looking forward to this too. Yes, we go way back. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, no,
Thanks for the kind words. You've seen this
uh,
product evolve a lot. And thanks for the kind words. But yeah, we go.
yeah, we're recording this towards the end of July 2025, and I first met Dan. I can't tell you the exact date, but I know it was Monday, Memorial Day of 2008. So
Oh
it was
wow.
over 17 years ago that we first met. And I know it was then because that was the year I first started doing trivia in February of '08. And I started, one of the things when I started doing it was I didn't really know what I was doing at first. So I wanted to go see other people do it. And you were one of the few guys back then who was doing it. You had just recently started, I think only a few months prior to me picking up my first gig. And I had a friend in from out of town over the Memorial Day weekend, Andy Saunders, a pretty prominent quizzer from Canada who runs the Jeopardy fan page. And we
Yeah.
wanted to go play some pub trivia. So we went out and we found one of your games at a place by UIC. And I can even remember some of the questions from that first game. So
Of
when
course.
did you start doing trivia? Was it '07?
Yeah, it was the end of '07. So yeah, it was that's so funny. It was literally a few months right after I'd started. Yeah, you get our timing. Yeah, right there. Yeah, the first two gigs, our Cannes Bar and Canteen in Wicker Park. I don't know if that rings a bell. It's been long closed. R.I.P. Kind of a legendary
No,
place.
no, I remember it. Yeah, and I remember, and then of course Waterhouse, right, was
Yes, indeed.
which is
Waterhouse.
still around, just under a different name, right?
Exactly. Avenue. Yeah, yeah. But yep, those are the first two. Good. You
Yeah.
remember everything. Good.
Now, so you came out from Boston. You're not a Chicagoan originally. You're from Boston. Did you run any sort of trivia out in Boston? Like, how did you get into, like, what made you come to Chicago and say, I'm going to start a trivia night? Did you walk into Cannes and say, hey, do you want to run trivia? I can do that. Or did you know a bartender and they came to you?
No, pretty much. Yeah, I'm trying to do the long story short here, essentially. But I used to go play a lot. So Boston College, way back, graduated '03, so way back dating myself there. And we get, and I lived with some high school friends for a few years after that. They're from the area. So I'm from Needham, Mass, in the suburbs of Boston. But we used to go all the time. I lived in South Boston with some friends for a couple of years. Just out of school, all of us trying to. It was obviously a great time. Life mid-20s, and we used to go to this place, the Stadium, which is long gone. It was a bar in Southie called the Stadium. We loved it. This guy John Finneran, shout out. He kind of got, and he actually technically is what do you know, Boston. It was only his it was a small operation that he had, but we used to go to his all the time. And I used to, he got to know us. We were those regulars, those kids there, and we'd win here and there. We were okay, but we were a little above it. But we loved it. And I was like, John, I'd love to fill in anytime. He's like, you guys want to host? And so of our group, I started hosting it for him. Pretty much it got to be a weekly gig. He was super generous. It was just a fun thing to do. And then I got the itch to move somewhere else. I grew up in Needham, went to Boston College, like I said. So I've been masked my whole life. And Chicago was kind of like, I want to switch. I had friends from college out here. Just want to switch it up. I heard great things about the city. I had never been here, and I just had a good feeling about it. I was like, I'll switch it up. And I came out to get an internship as in a recording studio. So I kind of wanted to pursue that too. I just wanted to move somewhere else. It's like typical couple years out of school. Don't know what the hell you want to do. I was working in special ed at Boston Public for a while, and it's like want to switch it up. And I actually got this internship as Gravity Studios in Wicker Park. I moved into the Ukrainian village, but yeah, the trivia thing was something I hosted for John, and I told him, I'm going to move to Chicago, just kind of switch it up. I'd love to pitch it out here, and he was like, take a bunch of my questions, do it, any help you need, and literally, yeah, I hit the pavement and walked into Cairns was one of the first places, Waterhouse, a few spots I just went in. I was like, look, I just moved here. I don't know if you guys are looking for something. And a few other spots I can't remember. I definitely just walked in a bunch of places. And those were the two that were like great timing. We happened to be, looking for something to do on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So I was like, I'll do a couple of weeks free. If you like it, I'll come in here. We'll promote it a little bit. I'll pass out sheets. You know how the drill goes. Try to get people there to play. And man, the rest is history. I mean, timing was really good. You said you had just kind of started it too, and you probably noticed like what for a city, a world class city like Chicago with infinite bars. And strike alarmingly, like it's crazy how little trivia there was. The timing was really good.
Yeah, at that time there was
Crazy.
very little. In fact,
It blows
the
my mind.
way I stumbled into it was there was a bar, Joe's on Weed Street, which is where you
See?
often have your semi-annual Tournament of Champions, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But they had a trivia night, and their host was getting married, and he couldn't
All right.
host anymore, and they had to find a replacement. And there wasn't all these trivia companies that you could get. And so somebody who worked there knew somebody who knew me and who recommended me. And I went in and I did that. And oddly enough, your second bar was Waterhouse. My second bar was Rebel Bar and Grill.
All right.
Both of
Same owner.
those were owned by the same company. And the general manager was a guy named Pete Mazzone, who I think is the guy that hired us both to
Yes, he
do
was.
trivia
Little
and
Pete.
kind of helped us both kind of get a foot and get a start in this industry. So our histories are really very tied together.
Really.
And
Yeah.
so did you take then John's basic format? And I know you've adapted it a little bit over the years and added some things of your own and changed it a little bit. But was he doing, so he wasn't doing stump trivia, because stump trivia is also big in Boston, right?
It is. I'm not sure so much anymore, but at the time, for sure. Yeah, we're all very familiar with this exactly. So everything's kind of connected as we always come to. But he'd worked with the guy, the Bob from Stump, who's a nice guy. We've both talked to over the years and worked on potential partnerships here and there. But yeah, Stump. It wasn't Stump, and he kind of spun off it. He changed it a little bit. He did the four quarter, like similar. It was like a wagering, and it's not. Kind of the general, the wagering, the confidence. Yeah, switch it up a little bit. He used to do a current. You remember when I did a current events round as well?
Yeah.
And it's funny, like that organically after the shutdown, which we can touch on, obviously, that was crazy. That threw us this whole industry into flux. But yeah, we kind of dropped it there because obviously at the time there was current events weren't too uplifting or whatever. I was going to ask about,
Yeah.
like what I mean?
Sometimes the news can be quite depressing.
Oh man, especially that shutdown, right? COVID and just how
Yeah.
just we switched it. So that organically dropped. We just didn't do it on the streams, as you might remember. And that's the only reason. And then when it came back, people were used to it. I was like, you know what? That's just more work. So we just kind of never brought the current events back. But that's literally the main round we used to do. But yeah, it's like the wagering rounds, picture rounds, pretty straightforward format. But yeah, the confidence pool stuff, similar to
And so, for folks that don't know, a lot of local trivia companies are relatively small and they have a handful of bars who are probably, and I guess I shouldn't say you're not a national company because I know you have venues that are outside of Chicago. So, in a way, you are a national company, but you're pretty much, headquartered in Chicago. That's the base of operations. That's the bread and butter. That's the meat of what you do. You've got more venues in one city than I think almost any company I'm aware of that isn't like a big national company like a Geeks Who Drink or a Sporkle or something like that.
that.
Now, is there a way for you to grow this where you're going to be in, all over the country and people can play What Do You Know everywhere? Like, what's the farthest away venue? You've had a Bay Area venue. I know that.
Yep, we just restarted again. Yeah, that's kind of those have come and gone, but yeah, with slowly but surely. The long-term plan is the franchise bowl. I have, and Gordon as well, right, Jeremy? I mean, we all know this,
Yes.
and it's been great. He's super. It was perfect. He's a long-time host too, and he stopped hosting for a while. He had a couple different jobs, but he was super. Like he is anyway. He's the director of operations now, as of a couple of months ago. Something I've needed to organize my brain, to try to grade what the next level is, and he's helping streamline a lot of the stuff for franchising. We'd love to get it out there. We got a lot of things ball rolling on being able to make it very portable and franchisable. Just sell the product out, just like much like kind of Geeks does. And but yeah, we have a Bay Area spot like Ray Ray's Tavern, I believe it's called. It does well there. Yeah, and a few spots outside. There's a few in Champaign. We got a Champaign chapter. So
Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah.
And Des Moines, Iowa, I believe you've had a spot.
We did for a while. That place did close, but yeah, that was
Okay.
a friend too. Lee, you probably know, he's a long time host. But yeah, all these like kind of organic ones are kind of like hosts that either moved and you're like, oh, I'd like to try it, and sometimes it sticks, sometimes it not. Over the years, there's been several spots that, but yeah, we're definitely working towards like a really franchisable thing. I got to learn more about, don't have the yeah how that
Now,
all.
what do you do like when you're writing questions, and you've been writing questions now for close to 2 decades? Is there a
Absolutely.
process you go through? Is there something you aim for? How do you try and keep your questions fresh? How do you try and appeal to people of all, when we started doing this, 17, 18 years ago, there are people that are now coming into the bar and playing trivia, and they were 5 years old when we
Yeah,
started doing trivia, right?
wild,
So
yeah.
like, how do you make questions that appeal to guys that and women that weren't alive when 9/11 happened, you
I
know?
know, it's crazy, right? Yeah, we're dating
Yeah.
our culture. I mean, we're the totally. Yeah, we've been. It's a great question. The short answer is I'm outsourcing a lot more now. I'm helping, I
Yeah.
still kids helping. No, I still do write out the bulk of it, and and going through. There's a whole process too that we have a lot more help too. I think I know a lot of the staff, like John Robinson. I know you played on a team with him. But he's helped proof a lot. He a lot of updating questions. We have a whole database. There's a lot of moving parts right now. It's kind of exciting. I have a full time developer, this guy Jay, who's building out this whole back, which is awesome. So we're gonna do a whole question database, and I guess the answer to the question is kind of like we're gonna go through. We go through. We're gonna date each question. They're gonna have there's a whole process we're working on, but I essentially have like outsourced a lot of the younger pop culture, and there's so many TV shows as you know now too. That's like the toughest one.
Sure.
There's just like to keep up with, and we do the TV branded stuff. So I have a couple of like 20 something hosts that like to write and certainly keep up. But yeah, so I still I don't write nearly as much as I have more help. So and we're kind of putting all the questions into a database that can kind of spit out streamline a lot of things. I mean, you and I, yeah, we grinded it out for a long time, and but I've just a lot more help is the short answer as I drone on about it. But and kind of the younger perspective. But there's probably 50, the actual process, 50, 60 websites, probably similar to, it's like obviously all the Wikipedia lists. You know my style very well. And,
I do,
those,
and it definitely plays to my strengths as
yeah,
a trivia player. I'm a
I know,
I'm
which
a
annoys
pop
me.
culture
Yeah.
guy, and you tend to be heavily pop culture. And one of the things I think one of the great things about your trivia from a marketing perspective and from a franchising perspective is it's quality trivia, but it's also what you're going to get, right? Like there's a
Mhm.
format, and I guess we'll talk about the format now. For those that don't know, What Do You Know game starts out with 6 questions in 6 different categories. But the first one is always going to be a who am I question, and the sixth one is always going to be a sports question. So when you play a What Do You Know game, okay, the first question is going to be identifying a famous person, the sixth question is going to be a sports question, and the 4 in between, the categories rotate. But you've got old favorites. You'll do a math question or an animals question or an Olympic records question or a president's question, same name, stuff like that. And then you have a picture round where there's 15 pictures and they're themed, and people get to identify as many of those pictures as they can. Those are 2 points each. And we follow that up with another. And, for most hosts, I have to have them ask this, right? But I've played your game so much, I can just do it
Yeah.
from rote memory. You're going to go to another round of 6 questions, which is always going to start with a name of the year and always going to end with a different specific TV show. So people kind of know what they're getting, and then another handout round, and then you have your 2 final questions. And the game takes 90 minutes to 2 hours, and it's a great variety of both pop culture, non-pop culture. You generally get a couple of softball easy questions in there, but as somebody who plays a lot of trivia, there are always challenging questions in a What Do You Know set. Like I think maybe in the hundreds of games, and I'd say it's got to be at least hundreds that I've played of What Do You Know, I think I've only had 1 or 2 perfect scores. And that's
For you, yeah.
yeah,
It's
that
no. I'm glad to hear
yeah.
that.
And there's always going to be 1 or 2 that trip me up, especially if the picture rounds can always be tough depending on what they are. And there's always some tricky stuff in there. So I don't know. I appreciate what you do. Did How much did you play with the format? I know I've been playing your game for a long time. When you ran your first game, did you start with a who am I and end with a sports question? Was that something you brought over from Boston, or was that something you changed when you came here?
Yeah, that kind of it brought it over from Boston pretty much. It was actually 4 quarters originally instead of the 2 halves. So kind of confessing that I
Oh,
cut
that's right. And it
down.
was a question song format originally, too.
Yeah, it was, and we still kind of have that. Yeah, it kind of flows, but just tweaked it. Yeah, but exactly 4 quarter, and then was the wagering. And they always did start with people. That was something that John had kind of branded, and and then sports was usually in the first round, and So little tweaks like that. But yeah, all those branding things, I think is kind of cool. Exactly. It's like kind of brands the game. It's just familiarity. You know what you're getting. And that those kind of, but the people in the sports for sure. Name the year kind of organically became just the first question. It was always part of the, it was a category that was almost part of all his games that we played, and I liked it. Those are fun ones. You draw out the year and that's right. So the name of the year thing, and that just became the first question to kick off. So yeah, those are the branded ones. The first and last of each round were kind of tweaks that I kind of finalized, and then the TV show I think was just kind of it's the one specific thing. But
And what was the sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but is John still doing trivia out in Boston? Do you know?
he does. It's funny. He just does a couple. I think he's close to retired now. He's got an older guy that when we were playing back then. And but yeah, at least a couple times a year, I have an email and bounce off some stuff, some questions, anything. But he still hosts.
So he is aware of what do you know
Oh
and
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
much you've grown it.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. He's very proud. He's a cool guy. He's a Boston guy, Irish guy. Yeah, we got tight with him way back, like I said before I moved here, and then yeah, he's seen it grow. So when I go back to home for the holidays, at least every couple of years, we'll grab a bite somewhere and chat. So it's cool.
Now, what's the largest event you've ever done in terms of a private event?
Ooh, a private event or a T? Well, geez, that's tough to say. Me host, not a huge one for me personally, but I have I have the go-to host now. I know you do corporate events now. I kind of send hosts out. I mean, we did a corporate event for close to I think it was like 800 people. It was a convention a couple of years ago. I didn't host it myself, but we sent three or four
Sure.
staff down. So it was probably like 800, I think, total. And it was like a short game, and we kind of streamlined the scoring and stuff. But yeah, 800. The biggest overall event, the TOCs, which we can talk about.
Yeah.
But as far as
Now, of course, you, like many of us, stream games during the pandemic, and you came out with an automated answer system where people can answer online, but you never really implemented that in the bars. You're still a pen and paper game in the bars. Was that a conscious decision? Did you do that because you don't like people on their phones when they're playing pub trivia? A lot of the bigger companies now, whenever you go in, like Sporkle, Geeks Who Drink, if you go in and play in a bar, you're answering on a phone or a tablet, which there's a lot of positives to that. And from a hosting standpoint, it's certainly easier and quicker to score things. You can do some ritzy things with it, but it's also really difficult to police people looking stuff up because people have a device in their hands and there's really not a lot of ways you can stop that. So is there a reason? Is that the reason you didn't transition to that, or do you just prefer pen and paper? Or
Yep, all the things, right? Overall, it's just organic optics, like you said, you're touching on it, right, a little bit. And yeah, I've enjoyed a couple of your episodes already, Jeremy. I know the first Johnny Good Times, the first I was listening to that and like talking, and you hit on a lot of the same things. I think we're all the same mind. These old school, us who've been in the biz for a long time. It's like the pen and paper still has that human element, I for sure. It's like that. It just organically stuck. I never wanted to really transition to it's people still appreciate it. It's still preferred, to be honest with you. I
oh,
mean,
I
yeah.
think it is by most people. I think it is preferred. I think it's great. Now, do you have now? And we used to actually, you and I used to get together from time to time, and we would go out and check out other games and play other trivia. And
Yeah, absolutely.
you're a pretty good trivia player yourself. I mean, you have to be after this many years of writing questions. You've got a pretty good knowledge base, and you got into it because you were playing all the time. Do you have favorite questions that you've been asked or that you'd like to ask? Like, what are some of your do you have any trivia nuggets in there? Or
Oh, sure. It's tough to even narrow down. Yeah, I'm sure these are ones of you heard. I always like, for whatever reasons, I like the Spielberg has directed three movies that each became the highest grossing film of all time when they were released. So, right now it's I think Avatar has really overtaken that. To give an example, that's James
sure.
Cameron. But over the years, and I usually tell people, it's kind of a good
So you've got
final
Jaws,
question.
E.T., and Jurassic Park. Is that
Exactly.
the
And I
three?
wouldn't even I wasn't gonna yeah, I'm gonna have to give you a decade's hint. Exactly. Yes, of
Yeah.
course. That's right in your wheelhouse too. But yeah, 170s, 180s, one. So that's a kind of a fun one we go. And we were doing some of these fests too, which is kind of like, we've done a couple because Chicago, as you well know, is like the street fests are a huge part of the summer culture, which is a lot of fun. So we did one a few weeks ago, and we'll have a tent and just set up a wheel of categories. And it's really for us. We're not selling a product like most of, but we're just kind of entertaining, just networking, passing out cards corporate events, like bring us to your bar and it's worked out. But yeah, that's kind of a good go-to one. You get people kind of, you feel out. There's layers of it. If you think they're struggling with it, you can give extra clues. But yeah, more That's one of my favorite movies ones. Yeah, there's
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you asked one of my all-time favorite trivia questions at a bar you were hosting, and I'm sure you'll remember the answer. But it was at Merkel's Bar,
of course
which was
still going
a
strong.
Friday night gig you used to host
It's
regularly.
Friday. Yeah.
And I used to play with Doug Robeson and
Oh
the
yeah.
Southern Comfort guys,
Southern Comfort.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
who you may remember.
Little
But
Temps
you
as well.
asked what the most common bird in the world was.
Yeah.
And I ask that question all the time. I think it's one of the best trivia questions I've ever been asked because the answer is so obvious,
Yep.
and yet there's so many red herring wrong answers. And I got it
Yep.
wrong because I think I put either a pigeon or a crow, which
Sure.
is one of the more common wrong answers people will put. And then you said the answer, and the answer for those listening, if you haven't figured it out yet or you don't know, the answer is a chicken. And I was eating a chicken sandwich when you asked that question. So when you said the answer, I had
Oh,
this
this
immediate
makes me
thing of,
happy.
oh my God, why did I not think of that? There's a chicken right in front of me, literally. And I was, but so questions like that, I think, where you get that reaction of, oh my God, how did I miss that? The answer was staring me in the face, right? And I
That's
think you have a real knack for asking questions of that ilk.
absolutely. I appreciate that. That's the best possible because exactly we've talked about this. That's kind of what you want, and I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely go for that. And I feel like I've cracked a good code on that type of thing. Yeah, that's a great one. Ironically, that's probably one of the shortest "What do you know?" questions, but it's such a good one, right? Yeah, exactly. Just
Yeah.
so it's what's the most, so there's billions of them in the world or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
pretty
No.
short and sweet. No other clues are needed. You should still get it,
So
but it's still like
sometimes
it's the
short and
perfect
sweet is great. You
the
don't
way
need
you
to
want
get a
it.
lot of, it's, I tend to sometimes be a little too wordy in my questions. I think that's one of my, weaker aspects of writing trivia. And I need to sometimes, learn to condense and use fewer words to get to the point.
You're
But
a talker, Jeremy. That's why you're good at podcasting too. So yeah,
yeah, well,
all
I,
natural. It's all the
I
same
like
thing.
to talk. I like
Like to
to
talk.
hear my voice. I like
Long-winded.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, other people find it not so grating on their ears and enjoy listening. So Dan, you've never been on a game show though, right? Have you ever auditioned for one?
Oh, you know what? I really haven't. I don't know what it's imposter syndrome. I kind of check. I think there's a couple that I thought about. Who wants to be a millionaire back in the day? At least take the test and stuff. No, but I really haven't. I definitely don't have the chops for Jeopardy or anything like that. I appreciate your kind of. I consider myself like slightly above average at trivia. Right? Like if I could retain all the stuff, and you have a steel trap, but I know you're in kind of this that echelon of subculture. We should talk about Trivia Nationals a little bit too. Met a lot of common people there but yeah, I'm not on that level really. Stuff like the chase and stuff like that. I think it'd be part of a team, but it's nothing that I've really been motivated to do. And I think a little chicken, but referring back to your favorite question, but no, I don't know. I haven't. This is a short
Well,
answer.
I think you should maybe audition for some. I think you'd make good TV.
Okay, right.
I think you'd do well too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just has to come across in the cards. But yeah, always considering it.
But but you've had several Jeopardy champions that have played What Do You Know trivia. People that have been on. I've been on multiple game shows. I know several people that have been on Millionaire Jeopardy, whatever, and have played your game and have gone on after they've played your game. In fact, I'm thinking of one guy in particular, Greg
Hey, yeah,
Peterson, I believe,
yeah, yeah.
and he won $250,000 on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And if I recall correctly, I think his $250,000 question he knew the answer to because of a question you asked in trivia, and I think he gave you a shout out in that episode. He didn't give you any of the money though, did he?
He didn't. He ghosted on that, and he said on that episode, he said, "I'll if I get this right, I'll owe Dan dinner." I haven't even gotten a dinner out of that two
I'm
quarter
gonna have to
million.
get a hold of Greg, have him take you out to dinner.
I mean, the least he could do it right now. Yeah, that was great. That was a trip, and we have that clip too. We play, we'll play it here and there, and so. But yeah, that was awesome. It was the question: what country ends in stan, but only borders 5 other countries that all end in stan. It was kind of a typical, and
Yeah.
he had just I think it was the week before, so he gave a great shout out, and he gave that was really cool. Yeah, we've had several Jeopardy chat. We actually Brian Chang is a current host. He hosts at Bex, and yeah,
Oh, is he hosting for you now, Brian Chang?
he is indeed. Yeah, he's been about a year.
I
Yeah,
want to go to a Brian Chang game. You're gonna have to let me know where he's hosting.
Absolutely. Bex on Wednesdays. I'll follow up and remind you. Yeah, it's kind of a Lincoln Park. Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna go see a Brian Chang game. I like that. Rowan Ward was a Tournament of Champions competitor. Rowan plays your game
Mhm.
often in the TOC, and yeah, a lot of. And I'm glad to see you went down to New Orleans this year to
Yep.
Trivia Nationals, one of the first kind of national trivia gatherings, and got to expose a lot of like the upper echelon trivia community to What Do You Know that may not have played it before. And you're going to be at SporkleCon in just a few weeks here in Chicago, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's coming to Chicago. Perfect timing on that. Yeah, and I credit you with the Trivia Nationals thing, Jeremy. We work well together too. And for listeners out there, we've kind of joined forces. I know you kind of ran Brain Sports Brain Bash for a while, but man, like you've always been in that community. That's funny. I've run the What Do You Know trivia biz for so long, but I've never gone to these trivia nationals. Over the many years, I'm like you're the opposite. Like you're everywhere. You're all over the country doing well, going to baseball
Yeah.
games foremost, but also you went to the Vegas for year after year. It's like, oh, you should always come, and I never like kind of did it. And you kind of put me on the radio. You looped me in. I'm blanking on her name. She was very sweet, the organizer this year. She looped me in. It was like, oh, kind of let the fire in me to actually to go to one of these, and it was yeah, it was awesome. I mean,
Well, that's great. Yeah, Leanne Whitlock was the
Leon.
organizer of that, and I hope you get to more of those. I'm glad you did. In fact, talking about me getting around, I'm on a quest to play trivia in all 50 states,
Oh, I
which,
know.
as of the
Awesome.
recording right now, I am 3 states shy of. We're recording this on July 20th. It's going to get released tomorrow on July 21st. Tomorrow night, I plan to be in Fargo, North Dakota, playing trivia in North Dakota for the first time. And then on Tuesday night, I plan to be in Sheridan, Wyoming, playing trivia in Wyoming for the first time. And on Wednesday night, I'm going to play trivia in Billings, Montana, which is going to be my 50th state that I've played trivia in. So
Yep, very cool.
I will have played a pub quiz in all 50 states by this time on Thursday afternoon of this week,
That's
if
awesome.
all goes according to plan, anyway. And
That's
hopefully, I'll have some of those hosts on as guests and talk trivia with them. Now, how long was it into What Do You Know before you ran the first TOC, which is the TOC, by the way, for those listening, is the What Do You Know Tournament of Champions. It's a contest that is held amongst the top What Do You Know teams in and around Chicago. And even those that play outside of Chicago are invited if they want to come up. And you get 100 plus teams together, sometimes at multiple venues, playing one game simultaneously, and you crown an ultimate champion of What Do You Know. And there have been over 25 iterations of that, or is the 26th one coming up? What's the one coming up?
Yep, it's the 26th coming up the week just in a few weeks, August 9th, and that's the Saturday before SporkleCon. So we got two back-to-back fun events. Yeah, TOC 26. Yeah, I mean the first one, they're
So you
2010 and
do it
20.
twice a year, but
Yep.
obviously we took the pandemic off.
Yep.
So was the first one right around what, 2011, 2010?
2011. I believe TOC one was 2011 at the Cubby Bear. Interestingly enough, which we came full circle and did last year. But since then, Joe. But yeah, 2011 was the first one. Like you said, twice a year. We do a summer one and a winter one, and you have to qualify, which is kind of fun. It really helps the weekly bars, as you know. Like you kind of pick a
Yeah,
bar.
no, I know teams that specifically look for those qualifying periods, and I know teams that even don't play in the tournament but still like to qualify. So,
It
yeah.
works great. Yeah, and it retains the bars. It definitely helps the consistency of people, boosts attendance for that too. So yeah, it's fun. 10 weeks. You take the top six scores, blah blah. And then we could do keep the standings on our website so it gets traffic there. So yeah, it's worked out. We've tweaked it a lot twice a year. So that 26 is coming up on August 9th, and we'll do it back at Joe's, good old Joe's Bar on Wheat Street, and we'll have it at King's as well. And you mentioned the multiple locations. It's been a cool thing. This developer that we worked with the last couple of years has been awesome. They kind of like streamline the scoring and stuff, so you can have all these teams in one game, input scores from multiple things. It's really stable. We're constantly tweaking that too, and that's part of the franchisable model down the road. And there's a lot of possibilities, virtual, live. You can combine, and you put all the scoring up, automated scoring into one thing. So we'll
Yeah.
be at
Well, I
three
love that
spots.
it's at multiple venues because you can get multiple teams involved, and it
Exactly.
hasn't affected the pace of the game, is the thing. Like, because everything syncs up so nicely with the game, it still takes just, your normal 2 hours to play even a TOC game, even with 100 plus teams playing in it. Obviously, the difficulty of the questions ramps up a bit, but it is a lot of fun, and I've played in a number of them. I'm going to give a shout out to Pop Pop in the Attic, who I believe,
Okay.
what have they won it 7 times?
I believe they have seven. They do.
And I
Impressive.
believe they're the only three-peat as well. Didn't they three-peat once?
They three-peated once, and they have 7 total. Yes,
Yeah.
the only team that has
So
more than
I'm
you.
I'm a little disappointed because I have personally won 6. Well, I mean, I with teams obviously, but with 3 different teams. So I,
Yeah.
Pop in the Attic has remained consistently pretty much the same team, and they have one more TOC title than I do. Although I technically, with an asterisk, I could claim a 7 because there was a team that won it called Bald and Beautiful. That
Oh
was
yeah.
my team that qualified,
You were sick
but
or
I
something.
was sick and in the hospital and I didn't play that TOC. So I wasn't part of the winning team, even though I was the one that qualified the team. So
That that is an asterisk. I'm not giving that to you, Jen, but fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah, no, I'm not claiming it. My first one was with a team called More Cowbell.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay.
then I won 3 of them or 4 of them with the Wolverines, I think, maybe 3. Oh, maybe I only have 5. Boy, I tell you.
I was gonna say I was gonna
Yeah,
double
I
it.
think I have 5. I think I won 3 with the Wolverines and 1 with all the way with LBJ. And
Okay.
then Bald and Beautiful would be the 6th if we counted it. But again, doesn't really count. But, I love a good what do you know game. And while we're not going to do the picture round in this game, and by the way, if you go to a what do you know TOC, the picture round, that's another thing. The TOC has kind of evolved over time where now the picture round is pretty much consistently always close ups of famous faces,
Yeah.
which I got to tell you is so much harder than you would ever believe. Teams will get 2 or 3 and still be in the running to win it because
Oh,
that's how difficult it is. And then the ID round is always before and after, which is always fun. I love a good before and after. And then you mentioned having you used to do current events, but at the TOC you always scrape the current events and you replace it with an escalating clues type question, which I love. Escalating clues I think are really really fun. Sometimes some of the most difficult ones to write because you
they are.
really
Yeah.
have to find that perfect clue that can kind of ladder down and become more obvious with each passing clue. Anyway, what I'd love to do is I think you maybe have a TOC set that you're going to kind of run through with me, and it was a TOC that I was not at. So it'll be questions that are fresh to me, and we're going to play along so folks can see. And for those listening, the difficulty level on this game will probably be much harder than what it would be if you went to a regular bar what do you know game, because this is a TOC level set. If I and correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, no, that's the goal for sure. And we try to sprinkle in, 1 or 2 kind of easier. But yeah, exactly. Long story short, it is a tougher one. We try to ramp it up. And some of these are pretty involved. Obviously, we can't really do the picture round. The ID rounds are before and after, and I'm not going to read all that. There's so many words there for you. But
You
we
can
do.
read a handful of them because I like it, but
I know you are a trivia jug. Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, we can do a couple of them.
we'll see how we're doing on time. We'll go through them, but yeah, let's at least get the questions in there because those are always fun.
Absolutely. All right, let's do it then. So we'll do the first half from TOC. I believe this is 24. Yeah, which is one of the few, yeah, that you were not at. So this is all fresh. Yeah, people is always the first category, right? And we do kind of announce the categories beforehand and stuff, but that's what all
All
the
right,
part.
so what are our categories after people in this one?
So the first half for the TOC 24 from last year, people is always our first category in any what do you know game. Video games will be 2. Anagrams is the third one. We kind of mix those in. Those are kind of fun. And then 4 is animals. 5 is musicals, and we always close out that first round, as you said, with a sports question. So it is people, video games, anagrams, animals, musicals, and sports. So that's the first half for the TOC a couple years ago. So the people question is 2 living actors have won both an Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role, so Best Actor winners, not just nominated, and B, a Grammy Award in a music performance category, which was not related to their film work. So, for example, Joaquin Phoenix won a Grammy Award for his work on the Walk the Line for the soundtrack, and he was, but it doesn't apply there, even if he won the Oscar, which I don't believe he did anyway. But we're looking for 2 living actors, essentially, both Best Actor winners, leading role acting winners, and also have won a Grammy Award in for something not related to any of their not related to their film work. Living actor.
Okay, I'm almost positive that Jamie Foxx has won a Grammy Award, and I know for a fact, obviously, he won a Academy Award, and I don't believe his Grammy Award had anything to do with Ray. So that for sure is one. And you said we're looking for men, right? Not women. This
Yes,
is
male actors.
okay.
Yep, yep.
So we got to eliminate Cher. Oh, wow. So now, besides Jamie Foxx, who else is a living Oscar winner with a Grammy Award?
Give a slight hint.
Okay. So, I mean, like, I know that Jamie Foxx is one of these two.
I will give you that. Jamie Foxx is correct.
Yeah. Like that's 100%. The other one, that's what makes it a TOC level question, is getting that other one. Like, I know Eminem has a Grammy and an Oscar, but he doesn't have one for acting.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
This is a solo. Yeah, no. Very.
Oh, no, he's not alive. I was gonna say Frank Sinatra has Grammy Awards and an Academy Award, but he's not alive. So definitely not him. Let's see who else. Boy, this is tough.
So
that's why it's TOC level.
It is. Well, again, I like this one. I mean, when you hear it, like, of course, I like, oh yeah, he must, give you slight.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. You said best leading actor, right?
Best lead actor, yeah. So it doesn't.
Okay.
So one best lead. If you kind of he's tried to make somewhat of a comeback. Apparently, I've seen clips recently. Very long career. His Grammy Awards happened well before his.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think of. So we've got Dustin Hoffman isn't going to have a Grammy Award. Al Pacino isn't going to have a Grammy Award. Robert De Niro is not going to have a Grammy Award. Adrian Brody is not going to have. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Well, it is music performance category, and that's it's just
when so was this? No, like it seems rather obvious. Although I actually don't know if he has a Grammy Award, but I'm going to assume he does. Oh, I think he does. Because didn't Parents Just Don't Understand win like the first rap Grammy? So Will Smith, obviously,
Smith is correct.
Will Smith and Jamie Foxx, right?
Smith and Jamie Foxx are the two. Yeah, Parents Just Don't Understand. It's kind of summertime. He won a few in the back in the '90s. Summertime was guys who won a couple of best rap performances. That's Will. That's prime Will. He's had quite a roller coaster career, as we know now. I don't know if you caught. He just released another album. Apparently, it's getting panned. Poor guy. I mean, he's got. We could do a whole talk on that.
Yeah, hey, he's a talented guy. He had a really bad moment, and but I've enjoyed his career, and I hope I get to enjoy more of his career.
Absolutely, I think he just really. But yeah, so he won several for Parents.
All right,
summertime.
Yep. So we got that, and I think if I'd have gotten that, I'd have been pretty close to 100% on there, and I'd have probably been my sixer. But we'll see what the rest of them play out like. So
that is fair. No, yeah, absolutely. All right, so video games. Which character on the original 1999 Super Smash Brothers roster? So essentially, kind of the classic characters. Super Smash Brothers roster was first introduced to gamers in the Super NES 1990 game. This character is also playable in several installments of Mario Kart, Mario Party, and the Mario Sports franchises. It's kind of so a little worry there. So a character, kind of the Mario characters, right? The original roster then. But on the original 90, he was first introduced in the Super NES. So we're old enough to kind of remember that, I suppose. I don't know how much of a gamer you were, Jeremy, but yeah, Super NES game, playable on Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario Sports. Introduced to the Super 1990, but he was the first introduced 1990 Super NES.
Okay, well, so I mean, I know a little. I'm not a great video games person. Obviously, it's not going to be Mario because he predates Super NES. It's not going to be Zelda or Link, right? Because that is Link is definitely one of the characters. Samus Aran, I believe, is a character, but that also predates NES. Donkey Kong is a character that I want the one that's coming to mind is because I think Kirby predates. You said Super NES, right?
Super NES was the introduction. Yeah.
So what's coming to mind is, because I don't know when this character was introduced, is Yoshi, and I don't know when Yoshi debuted, but I think it's after the race. So I'm going to say Yoshi, but this is probably my one pointer in a TOC because I'm not a video game guy.
Well, fair enough. Your instincts are always good, Jeremy, as a trivia pro. But Yoshi is correct. He was the.
All right.
And then you introduced the. Yep. Correct, but for the record, that is your one, though. So
yeah, no, that would be my
you
one.
Wouldn't have...
I mean, obviously, once I heard the other questions, if there was one I just absolutely didn't know, that would replace it as the one. But By the way, I should say the when we get to the anagrams question, if you figure out the one thing I love about an anagrams question is when you get the answer, you know if you're right,
Exactly
right?
right. That's the
So
one
yeah.
category. Yep. So it should be exactly. So with that transition, the anagrams question, if you want to jot it down, this is a shorter one here, so you don't have to write too many letters. But envy chowders, envy as in ENVY, envy chowders, CHOWDERS is an anagram for the title of what song? Huge hit song, which went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 during the 1980s, a big 80s song. So obviously this will take a minute for you to kind of, but yeah, I mean, hey, 80s. I'm not gonna say if it's a hair metal song or not, Jeremy, but I do know 80s music is your one music wheelhouse. If any weakness you have is like music that's not, yeah, if there's any weakness you have in your trivia,
So
it
yeah,
is
music is definitely a weakness of mine to some degree.
to a certain degree.
ENZY.
Why? Sorry, ENVY, envy, envy,
Oh, envy chowders. Okay.
envy chowders. It's a little tough with that. Yeah, can't see, but envy, ENVY CHOWDERS. Anagrams just style it to make it kind of a weird term, but those are the letters. Yeah,
Okay.
#1 song in the 80s.
Number one song in the 80s. Oh, yeah, this would be my sixth pointer. This is When Doves Cry by Prince. And so this would replace Jamie Foxx and Will Smith, and that would go down to my 5 pointer, and this would be the 6 pointer. Because this is 100% When Doves Cry. Prince, one of the greatest musical artists of all time. We can move on to question number 4.
Well done, sir. A short and sweet animals one. What species of land animal has the highest number of teeth? Just number of teeth, and just the general type is like a species. Yeah, what type of a land mammal? The highest number of teeth, which
Highest number of teeth.
teeth. Yep, teeth. Dental teeth. Yes.
Okay.
Type of what essentially, and we'll give kind of the general answer is fine. There's a specific species of this animal.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, my first thought is some sort of monkey, but I don't know that doesn't. I think a monkey is like a primate, though, and I think that wouldn't be right. So now I want to, and that's all that you gave in that one, huh?
All that we gave, kind of a short, sweet one, right? You can kind of reason out. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good margin. A species of what type of animal? Just the, is it? Yeah, interestingly enough, up to 100 teeth for a land
So
animal.
it's gonna sound weird, but like I think like a snail or not a slug, maybe a snail is supposed to have a lot of teeth. I mean, they're obviously teeny, but I don't know if that's right. Oh, you said land mammal?
Land mammal. Yeah, yeah, that is
Mammal. So
the land.
snail's not right. It's got to be a
No,
mammal.
not being a mammal. Yeah,
Yeah.
land mammal.
Okay. God. So I know the Tasmanian devil has one of like the strongest bites in the animal kingdom, but I don't think it's going to be that. I think armadillos have a lot of teeth. There was the Friends episode where Ross was the holiday armadillo. He didn't really have a lot of teeth in that, but I think I remember somewhere reading that armadillos have a lot of teeth. I don't know. Monkey was my first instinct. So by the way, I think Yoshi might bump up to my 2, and this would be my 1 because I'm gonna just say monkey, and I think I'm gonna be wrong. Just like maybe like a howler. I know a howler monkey is like the loudest mammal, I think.
Loudest, which is interesting. Yeah, yeah, sheer decibels for a land mammal.
Yeah.
Okay, so monkey is the final then, or yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna miss this
Fair
one.
enough. Oh, I'm glad you can't go. No, it is, but you did say it though. It is the armadillo, the giant armadillo.
Damn.
Yep. Giant armadillo.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before, and I just didn't have the guts to pull the trigger.
Very fair. Hey, that's supposed to be. You can't get them all, Jerry. I'm glad to
Yeah.
be up on the one so far. Yeah, the giant armadillo. So armadillo, we kind of accepted. It's like what's it? But yeah. So that was musicals. Next category of the 10 longest running Broadway musicals, just sheer dates, active or not, just sheer number, like run number of days. Of the 10 longest running, which is a play that had an original debut that was not in the U.S. or the U.K. So there's only one. So for instance, like not on Broadway or the West End, for example, but at some point became and now it still is among the 10 longest running. I won't say if it's active or not or whatever, but the debut of this production was not a Broadway or West End, and not in the US or the UK, essentially.
All right. Well, I mean, Phantom of the Opera, I guess I think that had a debut in the UK. I mean, it could have debuted in Paris, but I don't think it did. Cats certainly debuted in the UK. Longest running Broadway musicals. I mean, I mean, is Fiddler on the Roof? That had to be a Broadway debut, right? Like, yeah.
I would think so.
Chicago could have debuted in Chicago. That would have made sense for that to, but I think that's still a Broadway show. The Lion King was a Broadway debut. Wicked, I'm pretty sure, was a Broadway debut. Would Les Mis have debuted in Paris? That could have debuted in Paris. That makes more sense than Phantom of the Opera debuting in Paris. I'm gonna go with Les Mis. Yeah.
This is the correct
I,
reasoning.
that would be on the lower end. Like, it's the 6 and the 5 are still Jamie Foxx and Will Smith, and obviously the anagram. And I'm hoping the sports is going to be the 4. So
That is fair. I'm gonna throw a bit of a curveball your way, sports, but yes, it is. It is Les Mis, correct? That was the correct reason. You got there. Yeah, being of course the French work. It's a French musical, so it debuted in Paris in 1980 on and then it kind of transitioned to Broadway over the years, and obviously it's one of the more famous titles ever, a million adaptations. So Les Mis is correct. Well done, Jeremy. Excellent. All right, so we'll do the sports one, and we did. So we're gonna do a WNBA one here.
I love it. I'm a big WNBA fan. I was a
Gee,
season ticket holder for the Atlanta Dream when I was in Georgia.
I know that.
I've gone to a few Chicago Sky games. I think everybody should go see WNBA games. I think they're great, even when Caitlin Clark isn't playing.
Right, right. The Caitlin Clark effect is wild, right? And I did.
Yeah.
You wrote me, and I went and saw Sky Fever last year, and but yeah, I agree. No, they're fun games, and they're really trying to promote the pro. It's like accessible and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I didn't realize. Of course, you all right. Well, anyway, so the question is: two of the top 4 scorers in NBA history, WNBA history, in terms of total career points, have the same first name. Give those two. So top 4 all-time total career points. So obviously, active or retired. You would think these might be.
Yeah. Well, Diana Taurasi's number 1. There's no other Diana in the top 4. Tina Thompson is in the top 4, and I believe Tina Charles, who is somebody who, like, is a name that people don't know, but she played forever in the WNBA, and I believe she is actually second to only Diana Taurasi in terms of career scoring. In fact, she played for the Atlanta Dream, I think, last year, and I think she's with the Sun now and still adding to her total. So maybe she'll catch up to Taurasi. But it is Tina Thompson and Tina Charles. And that one I'm pretty positive in, and that'd be the 4-pointer right there. So
That is correct, sir. Of course, you're a WNBA guy too. Well done. Yeah, she's under the radar for Tina Charles. We run,
very under the radar.
which is of course
Very under the radar.
for sure. Still active, yeah.
Yeah, but she's a UConn alum, and she was the first overall pick in the draft. I mean, it's not like she's not a nobody. She wasn't like, the people weren't paying attention to the WNBA when she came up, which is unfortunate. She's a great player. So
No, you're right, and she just overtook the other, Tina Thompson. So yeah, she is number 2. You're right. I didn't. Yeah, maybe I offhand I don't know how far back she is from Diana, but that'd be kind of wild if she. So because talk about under the radar, and she becomes the highest scorer of all time. She's still active, so it might happen.
yeah.
Yeah. No, well done, sir. I was hoping to humble you a little bit, but you pretty much, I don't think
You did get me on the animals one.
the animals one. I think it sounds
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. No, well done. Cool. I mean, so obviously can't really do the picture round. I guess
Yeah, the picture round, I guarantee you I would do awful on without teammates. I'm not good at the face recognition. Whenever I've played a TOC, since you've been doing the close-ups of the face,
Yep.
I always just let my teammates get as many as they can, and I try and chime in. And I like one of the things that I'll tell people. So I think lately you've started to kind of theme them. So each row is like people from the same walk of life, whether they be politicians or athletes or Oscar winners or what have you, which helps a little bit, I think. And one thing I like that you do is you always tend to put some sort of like current political figure in there.
Right. Someone in the news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So some of the TOCs, those are the one little dated things that can be, but exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. I think the row thing kind of, and you kind of touched on it too. And like it evens the playing field a little bit because you've won all these TOCs, Jeremy. You're such a trivia mind, and like you have played on some of these ringer teams. I know, these guys like the ball, but that round evens it out a little bit. It's not really a trivia round. It's a different type of like you said, you just don't do well in those, but it's not really trivia in some sense. It's a visual, thing. So it's just a different something kind of stuck with, and it kind of, evens it out a little bit. You have kind of weaker general trivia teams, but they might have someone that's really good. That's their intelligence. They
Yeah,
know
no, I helped out at the last TOC, and I believe the team that won, or the team that was in the lead going into the final questions got like 3 or 4 right out of 15 on the picture round. So, I mean, they did horrible on it, but it didn't kill their game because it was played so hard for everybody. And I think of the 100+ teams that played, I think there were only like 2 or 3 that were in double digits on that round. It was a really tough picture round.
Absolutely. By design, exactly. Something that even no, totally. That's what's fun about it too. You can bomb around, but you're still, still in it for sure. So yeah, that last set ran great. Yeah, I mean, we can. You want to go through the second half questions, or
Yeah, absolutely.
we can do that? All right. So name the year, as you said, the brand did the first question, just like people kicks off our first half, our second half kicks off the name of the year. So here's the it's just 3 events. All the events occurred during the same year. Name the year. We do it every week at every game. And so this one is Neville Chamberlain resigns as Prime Minister of the UK. Resigns. The original Disney film Pinocchio is released. So if you're a big movie buff, you know those rules, those dates. But Pinocchio, the original, and then Tom Jones and Bruce Lee, singer Tom Jones, and the martial artist, actor, legend Bruce Lee are born. So we got Tom Jones, Bruce Lee born. Pinocchio is released. Neville.
Wow. This is unusual for you, Dan. I think your name the year question, especially in the TOC, is usually pretty tough.
Yep.
You gave 2 very big things. One, Neville Chamberlain resigning as prime minister,
Yep.
and Pinocchio. So I believe Pinocchio is the second Disney animated feature film to be released after Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which I believe was 1938. Neville Chamberlain was prime minister in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland, but he resigned shortly thereafter. But I believe it was 1940, and I think that's when Pinocchio came out. So I mean, like, I very rarely, I am a big advocate on name the year of not going big. And I know this is where the wagers get doubled. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're wagering 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I got to tell you, for this one, I would almost be ready to go 12 on a name the year, because I'm fairly positive that this is 1940, and there's very little doubt in my mind. But I would hold off on the 12 before to listen to the rest of the questions. But I'm almost positive I have this right. So you
Fair
can,
enough.
yeah.
And you kind of pinpointed, and you're such a buy of all the dates and movies and stuff. And like, yeah, that I usually we threw that one in there. I remember this, yeah, because I think the rest of the round was kind of tough. So I just occurred to me too. I almost if we played our game, I shouldn't be giving you the answers question to question, right? In theory, right?
Yeah, normally we don't
No
do
big deal.
that, right?
Do you want to do
But
that for this round or whatever?
no, yeah, let's hold off. Don't
Let's
tell
hold
me if
off.
I'm right or not. But I'm telling the people that listen, I think I'm right.
That
So
is fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So world history. So we'll do the answers after the round then, and then we'll see how you
yeah,
get. All right. Oh, actually, well, the math one coming up. Well, we'll go through that. So all right. So the world history is the next category. Oh, and you didn't give the categories, but world history. That was the name of the year. World history. The third one is math. We got a math numbers one.
oh
A
God,
little involved. Yeah, that one. So that's not really designed for this right now. This is, as you know, some of the TOC math ones. We kind of throw that
sure.
in math, but they have like the whole round, right? And that's kind of a part of our
You
game.
can
It's
you
like
can
everyone.
ask the math one. It'll be my 2-pointer. I almost assure you.
And even if you were a big, huge man, like it would take you a little bit to figure out too. So that might be not conducive to this
Yeah,
us talking right now. But that is a third cat. I will give it to you, and that's part of the round. Same name is a kind of
love a good same namer.
fun same name for countries is five, and then
All right.
given names is six, which is kind of a short and sweet one. Which I think you. But yeah, so those are the
What
cats.
was the sixth one?
Just given names, kind of a difference.
Given names.
Given
Okay.
names. So we got name of the year, given name, same name. We got name in 3 of the 6 categories in this.
All right.
All right. So world history. What ancient Roman structure? Just a general answer for this one. Features a caldari and a frigidary. So just a general term. It's an ancient Roman structure. We'll say so. A general term. A caldari, a tepidary, and a frigidary. Numerous emperors have had these places dedicated to them, including Diocletian, Titus, Trajan, to name a few, within Italy. So these are whatever the structure is. There are several that are dedicated throughout Italy to various emperors. So just provide the kind of the common English name that applies here. Caldari
I,
and Frigidaire, part of a what?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind would be a Roman bathhouse. I don't know that I'm gonna think of anything that sounds more logical or better than that. And it sounds like those could be different temperature rooms within like a bathhouse, and that is certainly an ancient Roman structure. So I'm gonna go with a Roman bathhouse. And that's probably going to be on the lower end. I'm less confident than that on the year. So we'll move on to the next question before you give me the answer.
Absolutely. All right, so that's lock. That's your answer for that one. Math. All right, so like I said, these are designed for a team, to assign someone to do this over several. This might be tough, but it's a question for jot down. What is the lowest number that is divisible by every number between 1 and 10, including 10? So this is not. It's really
Well, I mean, okay. So this is one you can at least, okay. So it's divisible. So it has to end in a zero because it's divisible by 10.
there you go.
We know that. It has to be divisible by like three, right? So it's got to be like, I don't know, nine, like, so 30, let's just I'm gonna try and do my best. So 30 is not divisible by four, so it's not 30, right? It has to be something that's divisible by three and by 10, so we can go like 30, 60, right? So 60 is divisible by one, by two, by three, by four, by five, by six, not divisible by seven. So we're going, so I mean, this is one I think it might take a little while, but I'm going to try and logic this out. 90 is not divisible by 7. 120, 1, 2, 3, certainly divisible by 4, divisible by 5, divisible by 6. It's not divisible by 7. So 7 is really the tricky one here, I'm thinking. So 150 is not divisible by 7. 180 is, let's see, so 180 is 2 foot, not divisible by 7. 210 is divisible by 7. So let's go with 210 is divisible by 1. It's divisible by 2. It's divisible by 3. Is it divisible by 4? 21 divided by 4 is 5. No, it's not divisible by 4. All right. So 240 is not divisible by 7. So I think we have to go to 420 at this point. Let's see. So 420 is divisible by 1, divisible by 2, divisible by 3, divisible by 4, right? Because 1, yeah, divisible by 4, divisible by 5, divisible by 6, divisible by 7. Is it divisible by 8? 42, 8 goes in. This is a fun math one. I don't like math questions, but this is a fun one. It's not, because 42 divided by 8 is 5. You'd have 2 left over, which would be, oh no, then you'd have 20. So that'd be 2. I think it is divisible by, is it divisible by 9? 420 divisible by 9. You would, 42 divisible by 9 would be 4. 60 would be 6. No, it's not divisible by 9. So not 420. So 8, 4. All right. I'm gonna not take up all the time in the world.
Fair
But I
enough.
think like I figured out a way to like, with my team, I think we would get there on this one, right? Like, I think this is a gettable question and it's a fun one to figure out. I don't know if 840 is divisible by 9. I'm trying to think of that. Well, let's see. 840 is not divisible by 9 because be divisible by 9, all the numbers have to add up. 8 plus 4 is 12. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So I think like isn't there like a trick to divisible by 9? So then you go to 1260. 1260 is so I'm going to go 1260 is going to be my answer on this. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what I'm saying, and it's going to be my 2-pointer. All right, let's move on.
That is fair. Good luck. Okay, so all right, same name. So here's the same name, and as you know, you give an A and a B. They share. There's 3 answers for this one. You gotta get all 3. We don't do the partial credit. We used to do those bonus points as you were from way back, but you gotta
Yeah.
get all 3 for this one. And the same name is 3. There are 3 one-syllable words. 3 one-syllable words that are each both a slang or street name for the drug a methamphetamine. So kind of a meth slang term. And B, each of these words is also the title of a major studio film that grossed at least 40 million at the box office. Just to give you context, like so a major a film of some type. And 2 of the 3, I threw in 2 of the 3 grossed over 200 million. So 2 of the 3 were quite successful. Give all 3 words. All 3 words. I could throw in the. I can't remember offhand if we threw in the years. I don't think it would be a huge clue. You kind of, but yeah. So
Yeah.
3.
Well,
Yeah,
so I know
one syllable.
speed is a slang term for meth, and Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, high grossing film. So it has to be that. Crank is also a slang term for meth, and there's a Jason Statham film that is called Crank, and you said they're all one syllable words, right?
Yep.
All right. So now the question is, so Crank and Speed definitely have to be. Oh God, what are other like? I don't know that there's a movie called Ice. It's I'm trying to think of other slang terms like crystal, like because crystal meth, but is there a movie called Crystal? Like I don't know of a movie called Crystal or Ice that is high grossing that I can think of. Boy, this is tough. Dust, but I don't think there's a movie called Dust.
Right?
What is uppers? No, speed. Okay, so I said speed, I said crank. Speed, crank, like Chris, Crystal, Andy, Poppers, Uppers, Junk, Angel, like for angel dust, maybe? No. So this is gonna sound really dumb, but I think that Pookie is a term for a drug. I don't know if it's crystal meth or not. And there was a movie called Pookie, I think, but I don't think it grossed a lot of money.
I think there was a movie.
That
Yeah.
can't be right. But I don't have a third answer. Yeah, this is gonna end up being the what did I say was gonna be my two? The math? I think I'm gonna have to make that my four, and this is gonna be my two because I don't have a third answer.
That's
I know crank and speed are right, but I'm gonna go with Pookie for the third one, which I think is just wrong. But I think it'd be hysterical if it's right. All right, yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, yeah. All right, we'll go to the fifth question then. This is right in your wheelhouse. There are 27 member states of the EU. Three different letters begin the English names of at least three member states. So give the three letters. So EU members, and this is I guess anything either way. This holds true now. It's three different
So you
letters.
just want the letters.
The letters is Jeremy, since you're such a high roller with the if you want to, no bonus points, but I'm sure you'll go through if you can name. But yeah, just the letters is fine. If you want to name the countries too, I'm sure
All
you'll
right.
reason out. But
So, okay. So I know that Belgium and Bulgaria are both EU members. S has to be one because Slovenia, Slovakia, and Spain, right? So those are all EU members. So S for sure. Ireland and Italy are, but I don't think Iceland is. So I don't think it's I. France and Finland both are, but there's certainly no other F. Oh, Lithuania, Luxembourg, and I think Latvia is in the EU now, right? Yeah, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, or Liechtenstein, but I don't. One of those is not an EU member. But if Latvia's in, Lithuania's got to be in, which means, and I know Luxembourg, I think was one of the original ones. It means I guess Liechtenstein. Oh, you said at least three, right? Or
yeah,
exactly three?
three or more. Three or more.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So they could all be. So L has to be one. S has to be one. Germany and Greece are going to be your only two G's. Austria, Albania is not a member. Romania, okay. Portugal, Poland are your only two P's. I think Malta is the only M because Montenegro and Macedonia, which is North Macedonia anyway, are not members. Nor is Moldova. Oh, Croatia, Czechia, and Cyprus, I believe, would all be members. So those would be C's. So I would go with C, S, and L would be my three letters, and I'd be fairly confident in that. So, is this the last question of the round?
Nope, there's one more.
Okay, well, I'm probably going 6 or 8 on that one because I'm pretty confident in those three letters. But let's go with the last question.
All right. So the last question, short and sweet. Given names, what is the most common given male first name in the world?
I'm almost positive this is Muhammad. Like, unless it's changed, I think that's been the answer to this question for a long time. God, I don't know it for a fact, but like I know that was at one time the answer. I think it's still the answer. I definitely want to go Muhammad. So I'm almost positive on the year, though. I almost never 12 the year, but I think I have to 12 the year because I'm 100% positive on the year. What were my other categories again? I know I had the math. I had the same name, which I'm going 2 on. I'm going 4 on the math. The countries, I'm either going 6 or 8. What was the other question?
Oh, the history on the ancient Roman structure.
Oh, the bathhouses. Okay, I like that too. So I think I'm going to go 10 on Muhammad, 8 on the letters, 6 on the bathhouses, 4 on the math, and 2 on the slang same name question. So there you go. I'm in.
Got it. All right. There we go. Yeah, did pretty well, Jeremy. Yeah, so 1940 is correct, and totally. I mean, the Pinocchio was kind of throw as a clue, but I know that's kind of that's a big one for sure. 1940 is correct. Well done there. We would accept the bath though. Yeah, public baths for that for number two is correct. It's a caldarium tabularium, the perfect logic there. So the math one, you were getting there slowly but surely, but it's taking a while. It's I won't get into kind of the ins and outs of why, but it's 2,520 is actually the answer for that one. So by your logic, keep going up. And I think some of your logic, the eights and nines are tricky. Certainly the sevens, and then you get to the eights and nines. Some of
Yeah.
them I think you're right about, but 2520, 2,520. So that was
I would have gotten there like if I was playing with
eventually.
pen and paper and a team, we would have
Exactly.
gotten there. So I don't feel bad about missing that on the podcast. I'm bad at math, but
Wasn't
that's one
fair.
I would have gotten to. I just didn't want to take forever on it here. So
Yeah, it wasn't conducive to the podcast. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I think you'll like this. This got you on the so yeah, Speed, of course, the Keanu, of course, Crank, Jason Statham movie, underrated. I love that one.
Yeah. Very underrated movie.
He makes a lot of the same movies, but that's one of his better. I mean, yeah, that's a fun one. It's a fun movie. The other one would be Glass. Glass, the M. Night Shyamalan, and it is used as a slang term for
Oh.
sure. That might be off the radar. Maybe
Yeah, no,
if
you
there's a
know what?
bad guy like
I think I've heard that in Breaking Bad actually.
oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of did. And that's one that usually, it's up to, but yeah, several searches, it is definitely a fairly common one. So Glass would be the answer for that one. That was that M. Night Shyamalan movie. It got kind of panned, but I think it made a lot of money. He's a,
Yeah, well, no, I enjoyed it actually. I liked that whole
I
series.
didn't see that
So
one. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it is good. And I always forget his, oh, James McAvoy. Yeah, I think he's a great actor, actually.
Yeah.
So he's on the radar now. I don't know, his interesting career, but yeah, I did not. I kind of want to see that one, but yep, Glass. So that's the only one really that you missed there. The countries, the 27 member states, you nailed those. S. There's four with Spain, Sweden, Slovenia, and
No, I
Slovakia.
forgot about Sweden. I didn't mention Sweden. Yeah.
And there, Latvia, L and C. I mean, you're correct. Yeah, S, L, and C are correct. And then Muhammad is correct as well. We kind of ended that round as kind of a short, sweet one for the TOC. But they people, yeah, Muhammad's right as well. I mean, you just missed your like the math we eventually would have gotten to, and then Glass. I mean, so and those were that was your 2 and 4, right? So you did.
Yeah.
Nailed
Yeah.
it.
So I've missed 7 points, I guess, out of 63 so far. So 56, and then whatever I would have had in the picture round. But now we got the escalating clues, right? This is
We do have the oh, let's see. Yes, the escalating clues. Indeed. We yeah, let's do that one for sure. When we get yeah, let's do we'll do that. So let me get that one up here. We have a new kind of back end here. All right, yeah. So you might want to jot these down. All right, let's start. So the escalating clues. I don't have to go over the rule, right? I mean, yeah, I'll give you the first clue. So for listeners out there, escalating clues, we ask a question. If teams want to guess after the first clue, they get 20 points. If they get one guess for the round. They can 20 points if they guess it correctly after the first clue. If they want to wait for the second clue, they can do that. They wait for the second clue. They get 15 points after the second clue, 10 points and 5. But yeah, I want to jump into that one then. Let's see.
yeah.
All right. So identify the two best-selling American products. These are just meaning high-selling American products by the current three-word name of each. These are products, American products from the following clues. Each has a three-word name, and so they're high-selling products. Okay, so the first clue, both were originally introduced in the 1970s. One with the original name Marsmen, the original name. So we're looking for the best known as now. Each is a three-word name. So both are like the planet, just as spelled. And the other had the original name, The Little People. The Little People. Each was rebranded to the names by which they are currently known during the 80s. So since the 80s, they're kind of known as we know them now. But two different products. Marsmen was the original name of one. The Little People was the original name of the other. They both have three-word names. Looking for the current three-word names by which they are best known.
Okay. So little people. I want to say that might be Cabbage Patch Kids because I think they were originally in the 1970s. They became big in the 80s, so if Cabbage Patch Kids is the one, then that leads me to believe, because you typically, like, you're not going to do two products that are totally unrelated to each other. And I think that, so you're going to do something that is going to be like a toy or kid. Did you say that they were both?
No, just two products.
Okay. So I don't know. You tend to like, I think these are going to be related things. So I think Cabbage Patch Kids is 100% one of them. So now I'm trying to think, is it Garbage Pail Kids were Marsmen? Or maybe Sour Patch Kids were Marsmen? I don't think Garbage Pail Kids came out in the 70s. I think those were definitely an 80s invention. I don't know when Sour Patch Kids came out, and I don't know if they had a name other than Sour Patch Kids originally. And I don't know if it's assuming too much to think that you would pair them and make them like both end with the same word, or because you said three-word title, but your three-word name, but you didn't really give that. Yeah, I think I would hold off, and it would depend where I was in the standing, like where I felt my score would put me in the standings. If I felt we needed the 20 points, I think I would hand in 20 on Sour Patch Kids, Cabbage Patch Kids, but I think I'd probably, if I felt we were doing well, I think I'd want to wait for the 15-point clue.
That is fair enough. Yeah. So is that kind of a locked in? Do you want to hear?
I'm not gonna lock in. I'm gonna
The second
forgo the
one?
5 points.
Let's do the second clue. One has spawned other products, including a flu screen and breakfast cereal. Other things possibly. So one has spawned other products, including a flavored ice cream and breakfast cereal. The other has spawned numerous animated TV specials.
Well, now I think it is Cabbage Patch Kids, and because they have animated TV specials, and Sour Patch Kids did have an ice cream flavor. I don't think I knew about the breakfast cereal, but so now I'm going to lock in with Cabbage Patch Kids and Sour Patch Kids for 15.
Well, fair enough, Jeremy. Impressive as usual. Yeah, and yeah, that is correct. And but I love how you kind of went through the, if you know our game, and you're, as you said, very familiar with my style in the game. But like a rookie might not make that. We saw you make that connection. They're not going to be completely unrelated, things. So
Yeah.
you got the Cabbage Patch Kids. That's the big thing. So you have that in the vault, and then there you go. And then you kind of deduce. They won't be completely two random things by the third clue. So if the third clue was the name, the third for the 10 points would be the names of the two products share the same second and third word. Obviously, you'd be locked in there. So if teams didn't
Oh
get
yeah.
the Scratch Kids to begin with, they'd be struggling a little bit, maybe, and then they'll get to that. But you nailed, you had the Cabbage Patch Kids from Little People right away, and you knew they'd be kind of. So you went through as a good veteran of what do you know, and just a great trivia mind in general. That yeah, that's you nailed it. But that is correct. They share the same second and third word was the third clue for the 10 points, and then
All right. And I guess we didn't really do any of the before and afters on the handout. If you want to,
I mean,
you want to throw a handful of those out there, we could try. Otherwise, we go right to the final questions if you want.
it might be a little, yeah, up to you. These are pretty, they are pretty wordy. Maybe we just want to jump to the final. Although, yeah, the final. Well, one of them from this one is the one you heard that had some controversy, which you helped, which I could have used. Remember that was with the Marvel.
Yeah. Well, we'll skip that final question.
Skip
We'll
that
do
one.
the other final question.
Although I'm looking at the set now, and I believe you heard this the second one, because this is one which I think I took from one of your redid it a little bit, but it was the Eurasian pole of inaccessibility. Do you remember this? I think this was
Oh,
you
yeah.
might not
No,
remember
we did
if I'm
discuss
not
this. All right, so
those were the
yeah,
two. I should have looked at, yeah, but those happen to be two. And for the listeners out there, yeah, this is one that Jeremy wasn't at, but we've talked shop for a minute, and this is a
yeah,
bonus one. So I think you kind of had heard those. So
I
yeah, I think
did.
just leave it the first and second half. I mean, you did quite. I could dig up some random finals from previous TOCs, but I'm not sure which ones you were at. And but
How far back can you go? I'd like
man,
to hear the finals from the first TOC if you have it.
you know what's funny? So that file is somewhere. I got it. I do have it. I could dig it up. Well, I got a TOC 5. When was the first TOC that you attended,
Oh,
Jeremy?
I don't think I was a TOC 5. I think I missed at least the first 6 or 7. I'm not sure, but if you have a TOC 5, one, I'm curious if it's still accurate, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's fair. There's some
yeah,
dated ones. I'm double checking this one. This is kind of a fun one, and I love the lists, and we haven't been represented so far in these questions. So we'll do, and this one still definitely holds. So we'll give you this one for one of the finals from TOC 5. And as you know, we usually try to do a pop culture one and a non, but here's a pop
yeah,
culture one. All right, so three singers listed among the top 20 on Rolling Stone's list of the greatest singers of all time. Which I kind of like to, just for kind of fun
sure.
purposes, these lists and stuff. There's kind of mainstream, blah blah blah. Greatest singers of all time, top 20 entries. Three of them died between the years 1980 and 1985. Got to name all three. So, passed away, died between 80 and 85. So, the first half of the 80s, and rank among the 20 greatest singers of all time, according to Rolling Stone, which just gives a context of being kind of main.
Well, so John Lennon and Marvin Gaye are two of them for sure. Is Bob Marley one of the 20 greatest singers of all time? Because I think he died right around 1980. But Marvin Gaye for sure, and John Lennon for sure. Freddie Mercury died after that, so it's not going to be him. Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson obviously died after that. It's not going to be them. Yeah, I think I would go Bob Marley, but it seems like I think he died in either 80 or 81, not 79, but it's possible it was 79. It was right around then. And I don't know. I don't think Bob Marley's that great of a singer, even though I like his music, but that would be Marvin Gaye and John Lennon 100%, and Bob Marley would be my third answer there. Sam Cooke, I think, died before 1980. Trying to think of other people. Otis Redding certainly died before 1980. Yeah, No, I got to go with Marley as the third.
Yeah, well, that is correct, Jeremy. Nailing this set, making yeah, that is correct. And I will agree with that a lot. I mean, I'm a huge Marley fan in general, just like just an icon. But yeah, he's not really known as just a unique. He's just more of a pioneer. It's not like the blow away voice but very unique. So he is among that, and he's essentially responsible for all of reggae and just his style. So he is so that is correct. Well done, sir.
Yeah, now back then, I don't know if I would have realized that Marvin Gaye was an answer because I've missed enough questions on Marvin Gaye that
Yeah,
I now
I think
know
you told me
he
that.
died in 1984. So
You did. It was
yeah,
just yeah, and certainly the all the easily case for the greatest number one on that list.
yeah,
Absolutely. I'll just throw the last from the TOC five at you. It's kind of repeats a category from earlier, which we don't do in a typical set, but just is in front of me. And this might be right in your wheelhouse too, but hey, we'll see. So it's of a few countries. There's only a handful of countries in the world with one word five syllable names. So one word five syllable name countries. Two of them begin with the same letter, have names that begin with the same letter as each other. Name those two. And I know you're a list guy. Yeah, I think you can name all the capitals,
yeah.
right? So this might be right there. You probably go. But yeah, so five syllable, one word, five syllable names. The two that begin with the same letter as each other. You had to name those two.
Well, so Turkmenistan is four. Okay. Ethiopia, Lithuania, Macedonia, Mauritania. Those are both five syllable names that start with the same letter.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, that's a fun one because if you're a big trivia nerd like me, you can name all the countries of the world. And I do like lists like that. So you're right. That's kind of in my wheelhouse, especially for a non pop culture question.
The non-pop, exactly. And yeah, you've adapted this exactly. So that is correct. Yeah, Macedonia and Mauritania. Yeah, you nailed that. I mean, yeah, the picture round. Hey, maybe the faces would have evened you out there. The picture
Oh,
round.
the faces would kill me. The
But you could
faces.
do this
Listen,
solo.
I could go to a TOC and I think I could do well enough to be I wouldn't win a TOC solo, but I think I would be respectable
Oh yeah.
again because I generally tend to like your style of questions and the way you write them and they go in my wheelhouse. But with the picture round, I mean, that would kill me, right? Like I would never even come in the top 10 with the picture round at a TOC. So
Well, yeah, and not to flatter you more, Dan, but like, yeah, it was kind of geared towards that. People like you, and when because the last like probably 10, like you said, have been the faces, but it was different way back. You might remember. I mean, we've had a couple.
I
We're like,
remember one TOC I played in. It was all bands, and that it was I
yep,
think it was maybe like
yep.
I don't know if it was trios or something like that, but or bands with one word name. I can't remember, but it was that was tough for us too. Even that one, the picture round has always been kind of a good evener in the TOC,
Sure. Yeah,
but
like yeah, the faces pivot just for that, right? Because it's kind of a difference. So it neutrals
yeah. And like I said, Memorial Day 2008, I can tell you the
it.
picture round you did was all movies that had the word last in the title. And the handout round you did was you gave a year and a movie, and you had a name. Either you gave a year and a movie or a year and an actress, and you had to name either the movie or the actress, whichever was missing, who won a Best Lead Actress Academy Award. And and this is, I played this set 17 years ago, and I could remember half the set.
You're a trivia mind. Yeah, it's pretty
Well, but you know what? I don't do that with
impressive.
all sorts of trivia. I do that with trivia that I like, right?
Yep.
And so yours is trivia that I really genuinely like. And I think that, people in Chicago are kind of spoiled because, like I said, I've played trivia all over the country, and there's a lot of great trivia out there. I've played a lot of great formats. I think they can all offer something fun. I encourage people to go out and play wherever they can. I think it's a great way to have a fun night out at a bar. But I think What Do You Know is one of the best games I've played anywhere. So kudos to you for building up a little trivia empire right here in the Windy City. I look forward to maybe either helping you proofread for the upcoming TOC 26 or maybe being able to get over there and volunteer for it. I'm not sure what my schedule looks like on the 9th, but we'll find out.
Absolutely. It'd be great to have you. Big help for the last one. Yeah. And this one should be just as fun. Yeah, the last one was the biggest one. We had close to close to 200 teams at the last one, which was cool. So we're yeah, the 4
Yeah.
locations. I'm glad you were at Tin Roof.
And for those that aren't going to get to play at the TOC, if you're coming to SporkleCon,
Yep.
make sure you go to the What Do You Know set. Are you running a traditional game? Are you running a classic TOC game? Are you running a mixture? Do you know?
Good question. Haven't quite, but yeah, it's going to be a shortened version. I think there's just a 90-minute time slots, including setup, I believe. If you're probably more familiar with the sport, but yeah, it'll be kind of a shortened version of our game. We might do 4 questions per half, essentially, is all instead of 6, because we got to squeeze it into the 90 minutes. But we'll have it'll be TOC caliber type. I might take some questions from past TOCs and
Well,
just like that.
I'd love to help you maybe run that one too, or put
Yeah,
that together. We'll see. We'll collaborate and we'll come up with something fun for the folks at SporkleCon. And Dan, thank you very much for
great.
sitting down and doing this. I know it's going to be almost a 2-hour episode because, well, when you and I talk shop, it can go
Oh man,
on for a long time, but I
we really
I
can't.
appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you for everything you've done in the trivia community, and I hope to see What Do You Know in cities around the country in the near future. So
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, looking forward to working with you moving forward. And yeah, thanks for having me on. This was a blast. We could go on and on, Jared. We'd have
yeah,
lunches.
absolutely.
Like we know all the same. It's great, but you've been a great compliment to like helping build this as well, just like the Trivia National Army. So I really appreciate you too. And this podcast is great, man. Keep doing it. I'm enjoyed listening to a lot of them. We even
Yeah,
on the
well,
ones that you've already done. You're doing a great job. It's
we'll,
kind of your
we'll do
wheelhouse.
more interviews going forward. We'll do more quick quizzes, and
Absolutely.
gives me a chance to still ask some questions, even though I'm not in bars doing it regularly anymore. So
Ditto, right?
okay,
Exactly. Awesome, man.
sounds good. I'll
Jeremy.
talk to you, Dan. Take care. Be well. Happy quizzing to everybody else out there.
Cheers.
Bye
Thanks, man.
bye.